I'm glad to be back for another video. I'm Mad Ed, and I'm glad to be back with you, and I'm glad you're here to see it. I need you to smash that like button and share, and be sure to subscribe, please. Please subscribe to my channel, especially with all this stuff they got going on right now. You never know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow, the next day, or what. Once again, I apologize. I hadn't made a video in a while. I put one out just a few minutes ago, and we talked about COVID-19. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the rioting, the lawlessness that has engulfed the world. Now, let me be perfectly clear right here. It's not something that happens just in the United States. This is something that's happening all around the world. Literally, all around the world. And this fighting and anger and hate and lawlessness is costing us. It's costing us history. It's costing us precious time. Costing us trillions of dollars. And it's costing us in the spiritual realm. It comes at a high price. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. And these riots are nothing new under the sun. It's the same old story, isn't it? Why? Because it's a good one. It's one of the best stories that's told around the world. One group of people are next against another group of people. One group saying that the other group smashed them down and caused them pain and horror. And the other group saying we ain't done a thing. Well, something's happening. And something has happened. Now these riots I find interesting. Because one side wants to tear down all the monuments. Once again, this is nothing new under the sun. And when the monuments start coming down, that's usually the first sign to revolution. They want to pull the monuments down that represent history. And the thing about it is, they don't even understand that they're doing the same old history that those monuments represent. I don't want to say a whole lot, but when we're dealing with the Union Army against the Confederates, once again, that's two groups of people. One side is saying, leave us alone, and the other side says, you got to be like us. You know, ladies and gentlemen, notice I'm picking my words very careful here, because I don't want to whittle it down to the sharp point. You already know the sharp point. And that is, this life matters and that life matters. Or this life matters and the other one don't matter. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very old race war. Okay? And it was never resolved to start with. And it won't be resolved now. Now you say, Brother Ed, well, you look like one of them people on the other side over there. No, because see, it started out one way, one thing. And that got the ball rolling. And then here we are, the 1st of July, and it's a whole different thing now. It's like the lawlessness in South Africa. Let me tell you about South Africa. They have a government over there that's come back and stated and made some new laws. See, South Africa was there in existence. And then one day the Swedes came over and the Norwegians. And they began to process the land and make South Africa a bustling country that it is today. But to be quite honest with you, exactly what's happening here in South Africa is that the government has said that the black South Africans have a right to take the land away from the white people, the Norwegians and the Swedes, because they claim that their land was stolen and they're going to take it back. And the government has said it's okay to kill the white people, to take over the farms, which isn't what's going to happen because China's in on it. And China's going to be the winner. You see, it's not what it seems. There's always something bigger going on behind the puppets. Whether the puppets are black or white. In this case, in South Africa, the strings are red. And China is pulling the strings in South Africa. I don't know about you. Color to me ain't got nothing to do with it. I mean, if I earn this land and I paid for this land and I'm working the land and it was legal for me to buy, it's mine. Now, if the government wants to take it because I'm not paying taxes or whatever, then that's the law. But now they have a new government that's made a new law in South Africa that says that the black Africans can now take the white people's land by robbing and pillaging. We have a friend in South Africa. Okay? And we talk to her. And she tells us exactly what's going on in South Africa. Here's what she tells me. I have to go take a shower because the water's going to come on, and it's only going to be on for 3 hours. After that, they're going to cut the water off. Or she says, we don't have any power right now. We're running on batteries. But the electricity is going to be turned on tonight at midnight, and they're going to run it to 2 o'clock in the morning for us. Okay, like while they're sleeping. Everything is controlled. Everything that can be controlled is being controlled. The other day, some of the robbers and pillagers gone over the fence and got on their land. But Paul run them off. Now I'm really worried about them. And what I'm also worried about is in this war and this revolution in South Africa, that I have to mention the colors of the people, when actually it's the black Africans against the Norwegians and the Swedes. Well, now here in the United States, it started out as one thing. It started out as the black Americans against the white Americans, or the white Americans against the black Americans, however you see it. But I'll see two groups of people at war with each other. Each side is yelling at each other, but nobody's listening. Nobody's listening to what they're even saying while they're yelling. This isn't how it works. It doesn't work this way. You see, it works like this. No matter what the color is, these two factions, whether it's the Union and the Confederates, African blacks against the Swedes, or black Americans against the white Americans, these groups, the only way that they can be successful is to come together and have communication. It's actually against the law of humanity to run out somewhere and beat up people and set buildings on fire that people that law-abiding citizens, and put them out of business, or to take over 6 city blocks and claim you're going to run it, and then since you've been there, over 600 shots have been fired. Because you don't have a successful government. See, we don't like government because they lie. But still, we need that government that presses down on us. Now listen, it's not just pressing on the black Americans, it's pressing on the white Americans. And so the government rules the roost. Although they don't get along, they run the country quite well if you look at it. You may not like what President Trump is doing today, but just relax, election day is coming. And then you can do what you want. You can go in there and vote, and the white Americans can vote, and maybe get what they want. Or the black Americans can vote, or maybe get what they want. But the majority rules. The minority doesn't rule. The majority rules in the voting booth. But as human beings, we're the same. It's not like me and my friend Spock, who is a Vulcan. His body is not like my body in science fiction. But in reality, in the United States, the white Americans and the black Americans are the same. We have the same body, we just have a different color. The Hispanics are the same. They're built the same as us. Same organs, same veins, same heart, runs the same. Now, I got this picture behind me here. You see it. It says New World Order. And you see the riots. And that is exactly right. It's not the black Americans. It isn't. So you white Americans need to chill out. And it's not the white Americans, so you black Americans need to chill out. This whole thing is being compiled and orchestrated by a group of people higher above us. Such as the leaders of the Bilderbergs. The rule of order that came from the Knights of Templar way back when. Oh, but excuse me, that's history again, isn't it? And this whole thing is orchestrated by a group that's taking advantage of a situation. The Democrats say never let a good opportunity of chaos to go by. Use it. They've orchestrated it, they started it, and they're going to use it. Because here's the thing. You're not going to get what you want. I'm talking to all Americans. You're not going to get what you want. And the day has come. I had a dream one day that I would wake up in America and it wouldn't be the same as the day I went to sleep. In 1 hour, we changed. And all this fighting that's going on right now isn't doing you any good at all. It's hurting you. I'm talking to black Americans and white Americans. All this fighting is hurting you. This lawlessness, this chaos is being orchestrated by these people right here, the New World Order. Oh, they're planning all kinds of things. They're about to they're about to put in action what they've been planning. At first, all they needed was COVID. But then they got a boost. They got a shot in the arm by an arrest being made in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And let me say this about that. You're still not going to get what you want. Because the government decides what's going to happen. Not me, not you. And if we don't like what the government decides in Minneapolis, then the people of Minneapolis have to come together what they want, go to the voting booth, and fix it. That's how you do it. We fight with our voice, not with a bullhorn. We fight with the voice of freedom and liberty by freely walking into a voting booth and expressing our desires. Hoping to get what we want. You're not going to get what you want. Because that cop that put his knee on George Floyd, he's not going to get the death penalty. Already they decided yesterday that they were just going to charge him with second-degree murder. Maybe they'll be successful. Maybe they won't. He's claiming self-defense. But that's not in our hands. It's not in our hands to riot, to fix it. Here's another point, and then I'm out. This is going on around the world. Why? Same riots that we have here going on in France and all over the world. It's beginning to blow up more and more. And the man of lawlessness is about to step up on the stump. And every freedom that you was enjoying, no matter who you are, America, is going to be wasted away because of the silliness of expressing what we want in the wrong ways. Everything that we know, everything that we love about America, more and more businesses are going to end up with plywood on the front windows and the doors, and they're not coming back. None of it's going to come back. And we'll all end up sitting somewheres waiting for an order so we can go pick up some food at a grocery store. And when we get there, all we're going to get is a box. And everybody's going to get the same box. They're going to shut the gas stations down. And only certain people at certain times with certain tickets are going to get gas. And everybody's going to be marked and monitored. And when you break the New World Order laws, you're a dead person. White, black, Mexican, Asian, French, Italian, you break the rules of the New World Order, off with your head. That's not going to be anything like you want. But with all this rioting going on right now, you're making opportunity. Because people around the world are watching in the United States. And you're being pushed and lied to and pursued by the New World Order. It must stop. We need to come together in agreement and think of other ways to fix what we're angry about. We can't fix anything on the street yelling at each other. Chaos only brings more chaos. And don't you know, God wants to continue to help us. But if we're not going to listen to each other, maybe God's not going to listen to us. It ain't about my color, and it's not about yours. It's about love. And you need to stop being angry. What are you angry about? Why don't you calm down and tell it to us in one sentence? What's whizzing you off? Tell me. And we can fix it. There's no excuse that can be made in this world that can't be fixed with level heads and simple communication. It can be done. And that's all I got to say about that. Hit the like button. Push it, push it, push it. Subscribe. And share this video. Because I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the absolute truth, and I'm telling it to you right now. Sometimes the truth hurts like hell. Now think about that. Think about that right now. Later, alligator.